lot of marketers are still really scared because we don't know where the consumers went. And when we do find them, they don't really necessarily want to hear from us. And so it's kind of a frightening thing. What do you do? And you have a management or a client that's saying, reach these people. I kind of don't care how you do it. Just get there, get the brand in front of them. And so we have a sort of this kind of crisis mentality. So your average marketing council right now, if you go to any of the websites that support marketers, are top 10 lists of how to do social media. You know, rules for being present on Facebook, or, you know, how to do better tweets. And they're not helping people grasp this more fundamental issue of human beings haven't changed. Our marketplace is changing, but arguably the same things drive purchase that always drove it. We're just identifying them and delivering them and experiencing them in different ways. How do we do that better? I'm not saying the challenges aren't absolutely astronomical and gigantic. I'm just suggesting first that they've always been tough. It was never easy. The past was never any easier. We just think it's easier because it's past. But, you know, the folks sitting around in 1920 or 1950 or 1970 were sitting around having a crap trying to figure out how to sell stuff just like we are. So it's not a unique problem. We don't have it worse off than our predecessors. We're just living the same lives that they did, and we got to come up with our own answers. The second point I'd say is, while we're struggling to find ways to find our consumers because they're not sitting in front of broadcast television with their mouths hanging open going, oh, yes, sir. Big challenge. I think what the big marketers could do in the big marketing departments is at least just take a breath, count to 10, and challenge themselves, not with the how are we going to find people, and then, by the way, letting that medium define what they tell them, and in fact get reacquainted with what the hell is it that we wanted to tell them in the first place, and why does it matter, and why is it meaningful to them, and then perhaps explore the venues to get that messaging and that content to the consumers so that it has more utility and more commercial payback. You know, again, if the mandate is figure out ways to engage on Facebook, that's not a business proposition. That's a game. That's tomfoolery. There's no payback there, because the medium by definition then will say, well, do anything but don't actually try to get them to buy something. Just be entertaining. And I think to myself, if any other marketer in any other generation in one of those big marketing departments had come up and said, here's my big idea. We have to get on broadcast television. We got to run a spot, but we can't tell people anything that would get them to buy something. But we got to be there. They would have been fired. They would have been laughed out of the room, and they would have been unemployable in the marketing world. Yet today, that's exactly what they're doing. They're letting the medium define the message. I'm a big Marshall McLuhan fan, but the medium isn't the message. The message is the message. And our challenge is to figure out how to translate that into the media that our consumers are consuming.